Danni. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty well, thank you.
It's so good to have you on the show. We haven't had you yet. It's so exciting.
It is.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I did forget to tell you, actually. People can make comments and ask comments and say hi, so we can pop them on the screen for you to see. So Chris is in the room and Paul is in the room.
Cool.
So we've got lots. Sorry, Scott, I forgot, and I just pest on those for you. I'm sorry. Yes, so I do. Sorry. Let's start again. Tell us a bit about yourself and music, because we haven't had you on the show. So tell us your musical story.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in country Victoria, so I guess country's in my roots. But I spent 17 years on the farm, and Mum was a primary school music teacher, so she did get us into music of sorts, mainly sort of more, I guess, when I say classical stuff. It was, I was in the choir and whatnot at school, and she got me on clarinet, thinking that I'd go to saxophone, but we couldn't afford phone, so that didn't happen, which was a bit of a pity. But then I think I just gravitated to guitar because I wanted to play songs from the radio rather than, yeah. So I taught myself guitar, and I'd already had a singing background from what I'd done at school. So I just amalgamated the two. And then, songwriting came not too long after that, although obviously this is a new project. Well, I say a new project. It's one I've started more recently. I've gone through the whole rigors of the industry, and, I stopped and started and was disheartened by it all, and ended up giving up for a few years and then coming back to it. So, but I'd always played, from an early adult age, I was doing gigs. I was playing cover gigs, and I had an interest in country music, but also I had an interest in other genres, and that's what happens when you listen to AM radio in the middle of the country as a youngster. So I ended up sort of gravitating towards a lot of coastal stuff for a few years, and played pretty much every song off 2 albums of Jack Johnson, for example, and then Xavier Rudd, because then I later on picked up the didgeridoo and harmonica. So they were also influences, and so then this new project was an opportunity for me to sort of blend everything that I'd taken from my musical journey, and sort of like a what do you call it? Just like a melting pot of my music, and it became, I guess, a coastal country. I don't know whether that's a new genre.
It is now. It is now. You can do that. You can definitely do
that. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. And the song that we're talking about, "Played by Beer," is more like flat out country, but a lot of my songs have got that acoustic vibe to it. So, yeah.
And I love the acoustic side of music, and to be honest, I love anything live, especially, but I love that sound, and I feel like you really get to know an artist with that kind of music. You really just get to hear them and their story. So I really enjoy that. But tell us a little bit. So "Play It by Beer" is released now to radio and to all platforms. I had a bit of a research into you, as I always do, because I like to sticky beat more than anything. But you've had thousands of streams on Spotify and all sorts of things. It's done so well for you. Tell us a bit about it and how you got to be releasing this one.
Well, this one was just a bit of an opportunity for me just to do something a bit more lighthearted. I felt like, especially with country music, it's nice to have the light and shade. I was about ready just to have a nice, fun song that wasn't too, didn't make me cry when I was writing it. But the "Play It by Beer" phrase came from, when I was a lot younger. One of my humorous mates coined the phrase. I can't lay claim to the actual saying, but I just loved it, and then it spawned to "Play It by Scotch," "Play It by everything. Let's where are we going to go tonight? Let's just play it by rum, play it by Scotch, play it by beer. But the original one was obviously "Play It by Beer" with its double entendre, and I remembered it really recently. or 6 months ago, and I thought that's a great name for a song, particularly a country song. So then I just built around it, that theme, that concept, and it was one of those songs that just came to fruition pretty quickly. I just went, hey, I'm going to think about my partner and or the feeling of meeting a girl in the bar, and I'm like, oh my God, I think she's hot and she likes me.
Yeah.
And right. And
crazy.
that's it. Everyone has that feeling.
Exactly. When you've got to go on that level, we'll play it by beer. Let's have one more beer before we have that full conversation with them.
That's it. Yeah, you need the Dutch courage, as they say. Yeah.
Exactly right. Scott just popped a comment up then, and he said this song has a sensational, fun vibe, and it does. And I think I was actually, when I was listening to it, I actually was thinking this is a great song to have released to radio and out there, because people are often looking for that in their day, a bit of fun when they're at work and the radio's playing, or going to shows on the weekend, or doing, all those everyday things. People do really love to have that bit of uplifting, fun vibe to break up their time. And Paula has popped in and she said, I love this song, Play It by Beer. And she also said that she likes your music, and she said that your music is awesome.
Yeah, she's a fan, and I love that. Paula chats to me on the socials, and is always one of those advocates, and so it's nice to recognise those people that give you.
It's so good, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah. So thank you.
I think Australian music, we have such an amazing bunch of fans, and quite often the fans are us as well. And that's what I love about the music industry here. I know, you were saying before you're based in Brisbane at the moment. You would probably feel that a lot up there, because Queensland has a very strong music following.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a real sense. I think there's more. I'm probably quoting incorrectly potentially, but I feel like there's more country music in southern Queensland than there was in Melbourne when I was living there. I mean, I think it's like you're overpowered by a lot of other genres in Melbourne because it's so eclectic, whereas Brisbane has got a really strong, Brisbane and southern Queensland's got a really strong country feel. So yeah, there's a lot of great artists coming out of this area.
Yeah. And it's competition, but at the same time it's not competition, because everybody that's coming out of there, or anywhere really, has such different styles, and country music has such a broad genre. There's so much room to play, so you can release a fun upbeat song, and you can release a sad song, and you can release something with different instruments, and it's so much playroom that you can do whatever you like, really.
Yes, yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, everyone's very supportive of each other up here, I find too, which is nice. Yeah.
It's so good. The fans, it's the same fans popping up everywhere, and I love that too. Whenever I go there, it's really just catching up with friends and people that have good tastes in music. Scott said, "We Queenslanders love our country." Absolutely.
Scott, most of the state is country, so
that's right. That's exactly right. And warmer, because right now it is not warm down here. Please rub it in and tell me what it's been like up there. Has it been?
Well, I mean, I could rub it in, but up until probably a week or two ago, we had, ever since the cyclone that kind of did happen on the Gold Coast, but it didn't happen elsewhere. It just stayed wet for a month or two. And I actually went down to Melbourne last week for work, and it was warmer down there for a few of the days. But I've come back here, and it's nice too. I mean, today was beautiful, sunset, pink sky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it was beautiful like that on the weekend. Very good timing, but the last 2 days I'm pretty sure my power bill is going to be really expensive. I don't like that side of winter, but you guys would have that the opposite, I guess. Your power bill would be worse in summer than it is in winter.
Yep, pretty much. Aircon's blasting, especially when you're an ex-Victorian like me.
That's what I was about to say, especially when you're not from there. Tell us a little bit about music and the transition. Was that difficult? Because as we were talking before, you actually sort of transitioned similar to because of the pandemic. So I guess at the time that you moved, music was quite slow being Victoria, but music in Victoria, music in Queensland, was it hard to transition into that new group of fans, new area?
I think, it was a bit difficult, but I found, like, we did live streams during the pandemic, and some of my I guess what you'd call them super fans, or some of my dedicated fans came from those live streams, because there was a different connection with everyone during that time, and Melbourne was so locked down.
Yes.
And so that 2020 for me was, I had I still speak on social media to a few supporters who came from that year.
Yes.
I know they came from that year because they jumped on board during those live streams. So it was good and bad. And then in 2021, I did the Bolt to Northern Territory, and then that was that took me on another different path, because I felt like a real rogue, bolting from the state just in time. I was probably one of the very few that did it, and I got over the border 20 minutes after I was meant to. So I went through Yarrawonga instead of Albury, and got through there, and then stayed in Sydney for 2 weeks, and then ended up in the Northern Territory, which I'd already planned to do, but I just had to make the Bolt because I was going to miss out. And I stayed 9 months up there, and that's when I entrenched myself with the didgeridoo. And then back to your question, that I sort of I was able to build a new audience in the Northern Territory as well, which was a different part of the world that I'd never been to. And I've got another song that I'll release soon called Larrakia Sunset, which is the Indigenous name for Darwin. And it's a total Darwin song. It's a song about me going on Tinder and paying for Tinder, and then 2 weeks after the girl had left Darwin and I never met her, so she became the Larrakia Sunset. And it's just a funny story to tell on stage that people resonate with. But I think it was such a weird time, but I think, and then I sort of lent into the country thing more. So I was kind of doing folk country, and I just went, let's lean into the country a little bit more and go back to my roots. So I think that's been the challenge, is just getting the hard out country people on board, because they're like, how have we not heard of you before? That's what I always get now.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we had that conversation just before you popped into the room, and it was interesting because that you're not there. I've heard that, and it's just interesting how you've had fans that follow you, but fans that have gone, we haven't seen him before, why not? And then you listen back through your catalogue, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm so excited to bring out consistent music, and maybe that's been something that I haven't been able to commit to enough, or I have been able to, but I just haven't. I've just got to take responsibility for that. But now, with Jules and other people on board, it makes me do. It's like paying a gym membership, let's say.
Yes, makes you go to that's exactly right. If you're going to give the money away, you've got to get to it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Now, you were saying that you started writing at a very young age, and your music. Do you think that the writing has become natural, or was that a natural thing to just pick up, or did your mum push you into that, and then it's become more natural as more you've done it?
No, I think I actually took to poetry in English, and I was at boarding school for 2 years in Melbourne, and I was all by myself. Mum and Dad had moved to Queensland, and I left this poem on the printer, but I'd left 5 or 6 copies on it accidentally, and I was being teased a lot. Let's say I was getting a little bit bullied, and because I was the new kid, and it got plastered over the boarding house. I thought that was, I was defensive about that, but actually people were closet, celebrating it. And at the end of year 12, they got me to write the poem for the BNS ball. And I went hell for leather. It was a bit dirty, but and I was 18, and it was, back, 20 years ago, but it was funny because I think that stuck. And then the poetry just met the music. Mum I don't think my parents, being a little bit old school, didn't think that this was going to be a career. And I was out to prove them wrong.
They wanted you to get a real job, did they?
Yeah, I had a disorder. And then I just started marrying the two up. And I think my songwriting now has evolved I was very wordy. I used to be very wordy. What I've found is like less is more over the years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now my phrasing's just, but I love it. I just love the art of phrasing within music and poetry within music. So I think I've always felt that's my strong point, which is why I've come back to it. I'm like, I can't just play cover gigs my whole life. My thing is my original music. My thing is my songwriting. So I'd love to collaborate with other people.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's actually something that we can talk about when we finish here. I've got some ideas. But tell me, like, so it's interesting how you say that. Like, you've gone from, as you said, got wordy, and then you sort of learnt that less is more. Do you still have to get that wordy out before you get to that other, or?
Often I do, yeah. And then I just go, hang on, mate, remember, someone needs to listen to this and want to, and you know, it's hard for someone to resonate when you get to, because I talk so much. Like,
we can be friends.
Yeah. It's like Jules. We never get off the phone. Like, I don't know whether we actually get anything done.
It's so much. It's achieving everything.
You do. You build relationships, and I think even with my other project as a booking agent, the trait that I have over other booking agents is my connection and my the relationship I have with my other artists, because I'll spend that time, for an hour or so talking to them. Someone else will look at that and go, that's just not a good use of your business time. But we're in the creative industry. It's different.
Yeah, and it is, because they're going to remember you. And when you approach them next time, that he's really nice, he's really interested, and he wants to do this with us, not make us do all the work. Like, you actually are helping them and talking them through it. It actually, in this industry, it really helps. Scott had a moment ago here, and I've missed it, and I'm sorry, Scott, I know you just changed it. He has done some fun facts for us to talk about.
Right.
This one, it is that you have performed in theatre for a number of years and travelled to Alaska for Playwriters Conference. Tell us about the performing side.
I did a full-time acting course. Another thing that I put off until a little later in life. I did drama at school until year 10, and then Mum and Dad uprooted us and moved to Queensland. And I was sent to boarding school in Melbourne for 2 years, which I in theory, I didn't like it. I hated it. And also, I dropped all my subjects. And that school, like, don't get me wrong, that school now has those subjects. But when I was going through, they weren't. That wasn't their thing. They're there to push 99.95 TERs. And so I dropped everything. I dropped drama and music as subjects, and so I didn't pursue it at university either. And it took me a while to get back to the things that I should have probably done in hindsight had I stayed at the first school that I was at in the country, where I was doing all those subjects. But I did a full-time course at 16th Street Acting School in Melbourne. And then once I got in, I shipped off to LA and just spent 3 months over there as well to, I thought, this finally my calling, everything's falling in line. And so I did that course, and I did postgraduate stuff. And then I got into theatre, and I was with an independent theatre company, which has since closed down, called the Owl and Cat. And they got invite to go to Alaska. So we went across there and performed a play that we performed in Melbourne at the Writers' Conference. And then through that, met people in the music industry over there, and then they invited me back another couple of times, and I played at the Alaska World Arts Festival for my music. So
that is really special.
Random.
It's amazing how much arts do collide, the different aspects of industries. Yeah, it does collide. It definitely does help. Yeah. I know that you're sitting there with your guitar ready to do a song for us. Would you like to still do that?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I will give you the room and everybody can enjoy.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play it by ear, just acoustically, which is the first time I've done this, because it's got all the bells and whistles in the production, but let's make it nice and simple. This is Play It by Ear. I'm a sucker for a country girl in a pair of jeans. The kind with rips in the thighs, a couple more and the knees. A little button down top to challenge my line inside. Go on, steal my damn trucker and make me go wild tonight. 'Cause it looks better on you. Let's play it by beer and see how it goes. Put on your John Deere and be drinking booze. I got the guitar, if you got the party, let's get it started tonight. Well, let's play it by beer and play it by shots. Play it by whiskey and see what you got. Just let me kiss you, don't break my heart. We're just getting started tonight, yeah. Well, I'm up to get down and down to get up with you. So let's grab a couple beers and put on our dancing shoes. Oh, won't you jump in my truck and let's head on down the road. Go on, shake it all up, 'cause everybody's ready to explode. And let's play it by beer and see how it goes. Put on your John Deere and be drinking clothes. Got the guitar, you got the party, let's get it started tonight. Well, let's play it by beer and play it by shots. Play it by whiskey and see what you got. Just let me kiss you, don't break my heart. We're just getting started tonight, yeah. Beer? You rude not to. Ladies? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm up to get down and down to get up. Up to get down and down to get up. So drink it all down and drink it all up. I'm down to get down with you. So let's play it by beer and see how it goes. Put on a John Deere and be drinking booze. I got the guitar, if you got the party, let's get it started tonight. Well, let's play it by beer and see how it goes. You got the party, let's get it started tonight, yeah. Well, let's play by beer and see how it goes. Put on your John Deere. I forgot to put that on my John Deere. Bread, drinking clothes, I got the guitar. If you got the party, let's get it started tonight. Well, let's play by beer and see how it goes. You got the party, let's get it started tonight. Well, let's play by beer, play by shots. Play by whiskey and see what you got. Just let me kiss you, don't break my heart. We're just getting started tonight. Just let me kiss you, don't break my heart. We're just getting started tonight. Ooh, ooh.
Wow, I love the hat.
Had it there.
That was fantastic. I heard lots of people putting love hearts and things on the screen as you were playing. Thank you so much. I wanted to talk to you. When you were saying in Northern Territory, you learnt the didgeridoo.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Was it just because you were in the right spot at the right time? Was it something that you went there hoping to do?
So the story behind the didge is I was living in London for a couple of years, and one of my housemates was English and he could play it. And Mum had a didgeridoo at home when we were a kid, but she never put us on. I think because she wasn't allowed to play it, it meant that she just didn't really, have us gravitate towards those kind of instruments. And I just never played it, but I obviously already had an interest in it. So when I saw that happen, I was like, I've got to learn that. And so in London, I learned the circular breathing. But then I didn't really, that was obviously a few years ago. And then when I moved to the Northern Territory, as soon as I was through and knew that I was getting there, I'm like, okay, for some reason it was drawn, I was drawn to the didgeridoo. And so I picked up, 3 or 4 while I was there and played a lot and then integrated it into my live performance. So now I can play it with didge and with guitar and harmonica and kick pedals and loops. Yeah.
That is fantastic. Did it take you long to pick it up?
I think because once you get the circular breathing, that's the thing. I don't think the resonance is too hard because you just you get a feel for each individual didgeridoo, and I know a lot of people that can make a sound out of it after maybe a day or two of trying, but it's making that sound and being able to circular breathe. And I do remember that taking a little while, but once you've got it, it's like driving, and
Yeah, okay, yeah. Once you're there, you can just keep going, and that would be enough for you to just want to keep going too. I imagine.
Absolutely,
Spectacular instrument,
isn't it?
I love it. It's so cool. I love your whole story. I love your music story. While we've got you there, we might have a look. So Scott has been amazing and done all these amazing things for us this week. I love how he creates all this stuff. I wish I had his talent. But we have a single here for your QR code. And before we do go to it, this footage was you and Gimpy at the Talent Quest.
Yeah.
The Gimpy just gone, wasn't it? It was the one just happened?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. We will come back and talk more about the Gimpy Talent Quest in a moment.
So let's play about beer and see how it goes. Put on your John Deere and be drinking.
I love this footage. That looks so much fun. You had everybody in that tent. It was packed full. Tell us about the whole competition, and you're hoping to do it again, hopefully?
Yeah, well, I didn't get into the main Gimpy Muster lineup this year. I applied, obviously, particularly off the back of that. But because I didn't, I've applied again. So there's a guy called Michael Turner. He runs, or he's between Nashville and Australia, and he is part of the Mother Tone, a company that I think makes. I think they make like equipment and stuff over there, but they've also got an affiliation with the Gimpy Muster, and they sponsor it. That competition. So I put my hat in the ring, and I got in the grand final. Well, I got in the final, and then I got in the grand final, and I was the only guy. There was two girls in the juniors and 4 other girls in the seniors, and myself. So and Sarah Lynn won it in the end. But I don't know who came second. I came runner up. But it was a great experience. And so, I thought, well, why not?
Exactly
apply?
right.
Because I believe that stage was more beneficial, even though it was 3 songs, which I got to play a couple of times because it made it through.
So you had to play the same ones for each round. Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think I was first up grand final. And the tent we were playing in, the stage we were playing on, was more packed than probably 5 of the smaller stages. So I felt like it was really, we did pick up a number of fans, and I played another more sentimental song called "Never Gonna Be" as well, and talked about the whole stepfather blended family situation that I've thrown myself into. And I had 10 people afterwards come up, I think, at least, to have a proper chat about, oh my God, this resonates with me so much because, I've gone through this, and, I've broken up with a wife or whatever, and we've had to navigate, different partners with kids, and it's difficult. And so that was quite rewarding, that part of it, to be a spokesperson through music for people in that situation. So I felt like that was also one of the more rewarding experiences. But apart from that, I mean, on the surface, it was just also Gimpy's a great, such a great festival.
Exactly, it really is a great festival. It's lots of fun. There are so many great festivals, and Queensland has a lot of them. Now you can get to all of them because you live there. I'm a little bit jealous.
Got to get one going in Tassie, Danni.
Well, yes, definitely. We've got a few that are here. We're working on it, so we'll have to get you to come down here and have a play. it sounds like what does this another fun fact Scott's popped up. He said that you ran an initiative called Busking for Beds. It was a charity-based project where money raised from the busking went to the registered charities aiding and supporting the homeless in Australia. Tell us a bit about that if you've got time.
Yeah, no, right. So I was busking on Burke Street, next to Tash Sultana and the Pierce brothers. No one knew. Just no biggie. No, I mean, I hardly remember them or know them, but they more like they wouldn't know me or remember me. But I remember playing right next to people on the street, and I just felt like obviously I'm there making the money, but it just seemed natural to give some to them. And I think I just decided one day that I was going to give all of my takings to people on the streets. And then we sort of documented it. I had a mate who was a videographer, and we went out there and we met this particular guy on the street who was such a nice guy, and his best interest was to get off the street. He was trying to get work. He was a landscaper. He was squatting at a warehouse in Footscray, and he was doing the landscaping for the owner, and then in return he was able to squat with the girlfriend that he met on the street, who used to go out with another guy on the street who was a pest. He was obviously jealous, and it turns out he attacked an arson. There was an arson attacked on the Footscray warehouse, and he killed them all. Yeah, including the girl's daughter. That sparked a bit more in me. At that point, I got to know him quite well, and I went to his funeral, and I played there, and I got to know his family, and then it became a real thing. It became something. He was known as Bluey, David Griffiths, and he was just out on the street, struggling. And then I learned about his past, and then I realised, okay, now I'm getting the nitty gritty of why people end up homeless and on the streets. He had a family, he had kids. He'd turned to drugs because he'd been abused as a child by an uncle who. I'm getting a bit dark here, but he committed suicide. He committed suicide the week before the funeral because I think he was going to get caught and go to jail for it all. Yeah. And there were other people in the family that were victims as well when they were kids. And obviously he couldn't deal with it, and he's turned to the needle and ended up on the street, and he got kicked out of his house by his wife, and he didn't have couldn't see his kids, and he was trying to get back on his feet. And that's when I met him, and we chatted, and he was going to be part of the whole. We had this whole thing. Let's get this guy off the street, and as it turned out, he perished, and so then I spent 2 or 3 years with registered charities, doing a series of charity initiatives and campaigns, and even during the pandemic and the live streams, I did fundraisers for Are You Okay? His mental health, So it was. It sort of stopped after the pandemic because it was so hard to get everyone back on their feet in the music industry. Let alone, you got to save yourself before you can save someone else.
Exactly right. Yeah. It did. This industry was hit so hard, wasn't it? But that story behind that, that's such a powerful thing that's made you actually realize to give back to this. But I think if you hadn't met him, we wouldn't understand the need or the thing behind it.
No, I think I felt there was a need. I felt
but not
falling to it. But then once you actually learn about it firsthand, and you go, okay, that's why. I'm lucky. I've had a really nice upbringing, generally speaking, and this hasn't happened to me, thankfully. And God, what a terrible thing to happen to someone that, an innocent person that just ends up on the street, and then a lot of people obviously just turn their nose up to it, and it's quite profound. But anyway,
wow. But a horrible story, but a good outcome in some ways.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think I'll turn to it to a certain, I'll integrate it again at some point in some capacity with my music. I probably can't avoid it now.
No, it's part of who we are, isn't it? And I think as musicians and industry people, entertaining people is looking after people. So I think that's why we do so many charity things and so many charity concerts when things are hit hard. We want to give to people because it's just part of us, I think. And part of it, we have to have that connection to be able to write about it. So we feel what others are feeling and see what's going on. So it's part of our job in the industry, isn't it, really?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I have absolutely had a great time talking to you today. It has been wonderful. Where can we keep an eye on you, whether you've got shows that are upcoming, new singles, because you're saying you've got quite a bit more music to release? What's the best platform to watch and follow you?
Best is to follow me on streaming at the moment, Spotify and Apple Music under Tom Mac. I've almost hit 1,000 followers there. It's a bit of a slower burn, the streaming platforms to get followers. So make sure you go and follow me particularly on Spotify. I'm going to do a giveaway for the 1,000th person. Actually,
that's a great idea.
Work out what that is. It might be even a guitar that I don't use or something like that.
Does anyone really have a spare guitar laying around?
Well, I mean, I'm just an idiot, and I go and make impulsive, purchases in the musical instruments, and then I think, I can't actually let go of this particular guitar. It's been rebuilt. It's totally rebuilt. Yeah, I just can't feel it as well as other guitars. So I'm a bit of a creature of habit in that area, but socials, Tom Mac Music. All my handles are Tom Mac Music, TOMMAC Music. I haven't got any shows now coming up because I'm just trying to roll out a few more singles and get towards an album in 2026. I'm hoping for, but I've actually got bands in town now. I've got that. Yeah. So I've got my bands in town as well for just, there's nothing on there right now, but you'll know as soon as there is.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. So
it sounds like you've got a very big year ahead, and we're nearly halfway through it.
I know, it's crazy. May 1st.
Really crazy. I know. Yeah. I just don't know how that happened. It's just disappeared. I feel like it was just Tamworth. I haven't Tamworth yet. Like, I don't understand this.
Right. I can't believe it. I tried to put a reel up of Tamworth, and then I went, it's a month and a half. That's yesterday. I didn't even do it. I'm hopeless.
No, it's time to be booking it again. Like we've already started booking Tamworth. I've got quite a few shows already booked in. So it's just like, how did that happen? I haven't saved up yet because it's still paying.
Right. Well, you've got my bum into gear because I haven't even done it. Yeah.
Well, we will definitely get you into that, especially with your booking background. You should be rolling them out.
I can't book myself. Like, I'm hopeless that, you know what I mean? I can book everyone else. I can get everyone else, but not myself.
Yep. I do the same thing. I'm like, you got to tell people about your show and tell people what you're doing. And then they're like, but you don't do that. Well, yes, because it's me. It's different.
Yeah.
Why would people want to watch that? Your brain just does weird things with ourselves.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for watching, and thank you for coming and doing the show with us. It's been absolutely lovely having you. I hope we get to have you again for your next single.
Sure.
Jules is amazing. You're in good hands.
Yes, definitely. Look, wild hard publicity. It's right down there as well.
Jules has a massive array of artists, all kinds of country. She's just got such a broad taste and a broad catalogue of artists. It's so great to see them coming through.
Yeah, no. Well, thanks for having me, and thanks to Jules, but thanks for having me, Danni. And look forward to chatting again soon.
Absolutely, and thank you, Scott, because I always love it when you're here. It just runs so nicely. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back next week. We've got quite a few shows already booked, which is exciting. So keep an eye out, and we'll get them up as soon as we can. But have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
See you guys.
Bye.